Welcome back to Comics with Drew. I'm Drew, and today is a review of Gwenverse, Spider-Gwen number 3. I love this book. This is one of the ongoing books. Actually, that's wrong. This is not an ongoing book. This is a limited series. But oh, how I wish it were an ongoing book because it is very inventive. And I've spoken many times about the fact that I think that a lot of creative decisions are being made with comics that don't really seem to be in the best interest of the book, in the best interest of the property. Now, that being said, sometimes you can dilute things and you can have a lot of fun with it. And if it's done the right way, it can actually be a really fantastic result. And that's what Spider-Gwen Gwenverse is. So this is going to be a bit of a quick review because the book is good. There's nothing really to complain about. I know I know you guys love listening to me complain, and I will admit that complaining is fun, and I can do it pretty well. But whenever I look for something in this particular book, I'm thinking there's got to be someplace where there's a failure, and there just isn't. One of the things that I really do not like in any kind of media really is when the villain explains their master plan to the hero that they allegedly have captured, and the hero is about to meet their demise, and so they say, "What's your plan?" And the villain says, "Oh, okay, I'm going to tell you my entire plan. I'm going to lay it all out because clearly you're not going to be able to stop it." And to me, that's silly because it inevitably turns into this situation where the hero escapes and uses that knowledge to defeat the villain. And I think that that is weak sauce. I think that that is poor writing, and it's terrible. In this particular issue of Gwenverse, though, our villain explains their entire plan to someone else who's not a superhero. So that's really fantastic. Tim Seeley is really smart in how he does this. I keep trying to find places where he's made a misstep, but he's not. And just when you think that he's hit the limit of what he can do, he pulls something else out that's even crazier. So one of the big things that I like about this book isn't necessarily so much that there's interdimensional travel or anything like that. There's a lot of different homages to things that are cool. And one of my favorite movies of all time is Back to the Future, and there's a lot of cute little Easter egg references to Back to the Future, not just in like quoting a lyric to a song, but also when they go back into the 80s, they find themselves basically screwing things up or realizing that things have been screwed up. To do a quick recap of the story so far, in issue 1, Gwen Stacy as Spider-Gwen is trying to go visit her friend Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and she gets zapped with this supervillain from the future. Finale, while she's walking through the portal and gets spun out of control, she winds up running into Spider-Zero, and Spider-Zero and her figure out that there's a bunch of different versions of Gwen Stacy, and they are super heroic versions, and like Thor or Captain America or Wolverine. And they determine that what's happening here is this villain in the future is going back in time to kill all the different iterations of Gwen Stacy and use them for memes to live forever in the future, right? It's a really bizarre plot, and it's a little hard to follow. But the bottom line is Spider-Gwen is determined to find all the different versions of herself that these assassins that are being sent from the future are trying to kill. So to that end, the first issue, she finds Thor-Gwen, or Gwen as Thor. And then in the second issue, she finds Captain America Gwen, and she finds Wolverine Gwen. And in the process of doing so, they actually come across, well, they don't really themselves come across Tony Stark and Norman Osborn, but Tony Stark and Norman Osborn as children watch this battle that occurs between Spider-Gwen and Captain America and Wolverine and these villains that are being sent back to assassinate them. And so then that happens in the 50s, right? So they get out of there, and then in issue 3, it picks up where they're back talking to Spider-Zero, and they're still looking for additional superheroes to rescue. So they decide that they need to go to the 80s, and in the 80s, they rescue Iron Man Gwen, right? So now what you have is essentially the Avengers version of Gwen Stacy, which is really cool. And so just when you think that they can't go any crazier than this, then there is a twist at the end where Tim Seeley, the writer here, finds an even cooler thing that they can do. And honestly, it's really inventive. I really enjoy it, right? I know a lot of people don't like the multiverse stuff because they think it's overplayed and it's overdone and it's diluting Spider-Man, and I understand that point of view. But from the perspective of this limited run series, it's really a blast to read. It really is. So the book is, again, 5 stars. Like I've said in previous videos, World's Finest is the current ongoing best comic book you can buy from the big two. However, as far as limited series go, this Gwenverse series is amazing. So I was a bit irritated. I thought that I was going to get called when this came out, but nevertheless, I was not called. I went into one of the comic stores I normally go into, and I saw it on the shelf. I'm like, dude, this is supposed to be on my pull. Why aren't you calling me? It's like, oh, we didn't think it was on your pull. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So anyway, I picked it up. I love the book. It's a great book. If you enjoy Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider or whatever you want to call her, this is a can't miss book. Okay, this is a must-read book, and it's a lot of fun. It's a blast. The writing is fantastic. The different references to different pop culture things based upon the era that they're in is just, it's a joy to read, right? It's a really fun book to read. So, like I said, I know you guys love it when I complain about things. I can't really complain about this book other than it's ending soon. Well, I don't know if soon. I think it's a 5-issue series, but I could be wrong. But there's not too many additional issues coming up for it. But I wanted to take the opportunity to review it while it was coming out and let you know what's going on with it. So again, Spider-Gwen, Gwenverse, number 3 by Tim Seeley. The art is phenomenal. The writing is hilarious, and I can't recommend it enough. Thanks for watching Comics with Drew. I'm Drew, and I'll catch you next time.